Hello, everyone, and welcome to the O.P.O.V podcast. We're here with author Tennille Chaffin to talk about his book, Little Duke Boy, From Poverty to Purpose. Welcome,
Welcome. It's a pleasure to have me on. Pleasure. Thank you.
The pleasure is all ours.
Yes.
So can you tell us about yourself?
I'm a 43-year-old author. This is my first book.
Congratulations.
I come from the title is Poverty to Purpose, and the reason being is I grew up in poverty, and I finally found my purpose.
So why did you decide to write this book?
I did it to inspire others, to motivate some others. There's some kids out there that I'm sure is going through similar situations. Some may be a little easier, maybe some may be a little rougher.
Mm-hmm.
But I just felt like this was the time that I had to do this.
Good. So can you talk about your writing process, since this is your first book?
Writing process, God put this on me. It was pretty easy. It was pretty easy for me. God put it on me, and in a 3-week span, I had the majority of my writing done.
Mm-hmm.
I stayed focused, and that's one of the sayings I stick to.
Mm-hmm.
I stayed focused, and I didn't let anything distract me,
Mm-hmm.
and I just kept at it.
Good. So one of the things that I noticed about the book, and the thing that kept me turning the pages, was how nostalgic it was for me.
Mm-hmm.
Just the level of nostalgia in and of itself brought out so much emotion in me. Like, I remember even reading about the powdered milk and being able to kind of taste it, which was really weird. But at the same time, I kept turning, and we were talking about how in Cockernell, the doorway with the beads, and this is something that's local. People outside the local region may or may not be familiar with that. I don't know if that's something that people did in other housing projects or not, but it was really nostalgic.
Just talking about the hallways, all of that just came back. So I don't know. I was smiling from ear to ear, just thinking back and the smell of the hallway. When you walked in the hallway down there, and all. Whenever the part came from the in the book where you said coming out of the room in Crockendale bedrooms, and I was like, there's beads in the doorway. Everybody had beads in the doorway coming out of, coming out the back rooms into the living rooms. And I knew that, you know what I'm saying? I could hear them, you know what I mean? So that was a good part of the book. I was like, yeah, it was a dead on.
And that's what I tried to do. I tried to be as transparent as possible, and I try to take the readers as if they was walking in my shoes throughout the book.
You did.
So I want you to get a vision for everything that I was talking about.
You displayed that well.
Thank you.
You displayed that well.
Thank you.
Total, everything on through the book. You did that well.
Right, because a lot of the things that you're describing are almost 40 years old, and I was kind of wondering how you were able to recall such a level of detail.
Well, I run across some associates or something every now and then, and we'll get to talking about some old things that I don't remember. Maybe I don't know the reason why, but I know that through this, it was so easy for me because, like I said, God put this on me. He guided me through this, all the way through it. He told me to go pick that pen up and get to it, and I did it. And it was just it flowed so easily because I was being led by the Holy Spirit.
Because book writing can be such an arduous process for some people. 3 weeks is pretty quick, especially for you to get out a 300 and some odd page turner, So
it was over 400 pages. I wrote 412 pages. And anybody who's familiar with 412, there's another meaning behind that too. And I was just blown away. It wasn't orchestrated. It's just how it happened. It's just how it ended up. And at the end, I was like, wow, 412 pages. And after it was edited and broken down, that's what we ended up at. So over 100 pages was taken out. And you think this was a lot of heat and air, then the other 100 pages was a. You know.
So the book, a part 2 or no?
You can just forward this.
So we continue.
Yeah.
Well, I want to move forward with this one first.
Okay.
This is a big day. This is my release date, my actual release date. So to be surrounded with family right now is. Your viewers may not know that, but we're all family here.
Yes, we are.
So
yeah.
I'm the biggest cousin here.
Yeah. So it's a humbling experience, and I'm grateful.
Yeah, we're grateful to have you here. I know that in the book you talk about a lot of sensitive information. So I was kind of like wondering, why did you decide to use some people's real names or known nicknames but conceal the identity of others altogether?
Some of the characters in the book, first of all, I want to make this clear. This is a fiction book. It's based on true events. Some of the characters, I'm certain that I'm fine with. I still communicate with some of them. I'm not going to disclose any names because some of them, for whatever reasons, they do things. They operate the way they operate, and I'm fine with that. But there was others that I know that I don't associate with, or have any type of conversations with, and I felt as though, out of respect, it was. Maybe it was better that I just let a name out.
Yeah.
But, locally, people will know who I'm talking about. But on a platform that I'm trying to take this to, they'll have no idea.
Right. In the grand scheme of things, it might not be as relevant.
Right.
Yeah. Do you have any questions?
I'm not yet.
Okay. Now I know that there are some details specific to other people that can be considered sensitive. Why did you decide to include those details, and were you concerned with how those people or their families would feel when reading the book?
I had to be as transparent as I possibly could. That's the only way that my story would be and become what it is, and where it's headed to. I talk about my mother in the book, so I'm not sugarcoating.
Yeah.
I'm not sugarcoating. There's nothing off limits. I'm not, and anybody who know me know that I'm straightforward, regardless of the situation. And I talk about myself in the book. So I can't imagine somebody even thinking that they would be off limits.
Yeah, because what the one part about the colostomy bag had me like, but that's really like detailed information. Like nobody wants to tell everybody that they was running around smelling like poop. So yeah, I get it.
And I remember that time, and the part in the book about my father that I was speaking about. Like when I read that part, it was spot on. From the power being taken out that night. It was February 14th. February 13th is my brother's birthday. So February 13th was the last time I seen my father. He came in, my mom cussed him out. You came down here, you didn't have nothing. It's his birthday, blah, blah, blah. He said, I'll be back. But this wasn't the first time that he said that. Like, I knew what he was doing. He was stealing copper. Like that was his hustle. That was a lot of people's hustle back then. Like, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, I'll be back tomorrow. What a bite. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we're like, okay. So reading that book, the back end of it, when you said they came out, the cop, in my mind, I'm just like, how dare you? You left him. Like, they left him. No one called 911. And for them to come out to steal cop and to know that you served. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was just like, oh my God. But it had nothing to do with you. You didn't know. You didn't know that they left him. You didn't know that. I'm sorry.
Sorry to interrupt you, but for our viewers, they might not know what cop means. What does cop mean?
So they went to go purchase their drug of choice.
Okay.
They went to go purchase their drug of choice, and you didn't know that they had left them in there. You didn't know that no one called 911. You didn't know the time frame that happened and how many hours had passed before anybody even knew that my dad was still laying in there. So, you know what I'm saying? So that was like a stomach punch for me. Like, stop reading, and I had to take that in.
Yeah.
Like, I had to soak that in. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I didn't know that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I was just like, oh, that's what they did. I ain't gonna say I don't. I haven't at this point forgiven those folks because they were wrong. So was my father, but the least they could have did was call 911. Like, you know what I'm saying? The least they could have did was call 911, and their focus was to get high. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, to get high. Oh, we can't tell nobody because we were wrong. We were in there stealing. Like, you know, we broke in. Like, you know what I'm saying? But to leave him, that was a problem for me.
Yeah.
It still is. Still is.
In order for you to move forward, you have to forgive them. Like, you have to get past it. That's part of the process.
I'm a work in progress.
In your growth. So we're gonna keep you in prayer.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep you in prayer with that.
Right.
In order for you to get where you need to be, and for you to soak in all your blessings, you gonna have to.
I'm a work in progress. I'm a work in progress.
Absolutely.
So that's why I said I haven't forgiven them yet. So, like, in the future maybe.
Yeah.
But like, So so that part in the book, that was just like, for me, anything else I was just like, whatever. But that was I'm glad you put that in there. I'm glad you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You put that in there because I didn't know that. I would have never known that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So So
That was I remember the day. Like, real vividly. Like, it's
yes.
It's
So I wanted to ask, because you didn't say a time in there. Like, it was, you said like early morning or whatever.
We would stay up all night long.
Right.
We would stay up all night long, drink beer when we should have been in bed, getting ready for school the next day. We would be up all night, drinking 40 ounces of beer, passing the 40-ounce bottle around.
Right.
And just waiting. They slept a lot during the day and late night. From midnight to 8 o'clock and 7 o'clock in the morning, that was our shift. You know, we waited the mill boys, we called them the mill boys. And they would all get together, put their Timberlands on, put their boots on, and they would go hit it right down the road, walk down the road.
They went in behind that little bus stop that was right there at the end of, when you come out of Crockendale, you know, Macedonia is still there. There's a bus stop there. There was a little shelter there. That's where they went in at. A lot of people don't know, and I just disclosed this to my aunt. My father was such an open and honest person. Like, he didn't hide anything. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I remember being younger and him saying, I get high. Like, I do that. This is bad. Don't you ever do that. But he never hid that. Like, you know what I'm saying? How I knew that they went in that way because he told me that. Like, that's how I get in there. When I go, you know what I'm saying? I was 12 years old, and I knew that my father was stealing copper. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just like, you know, but I was just like, okay, like, you know, so, he was real open and honest with me about a lot of everything that he did. Like, I don't think that there's anything that somebody could tell me about my dad that he probably didn't tell me himself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? So, yeah. So, but I know that at that time that happened, they calculated that when he touched that live wire with that saw, it was almost 1 o'clock. Like in the morning, because they went in like after 12, so like it was like about 1 o'clock or whatever. They did not go in there and pull my dad out. It had to be about 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, because my grandma Fanny, and my mom had to go down there to identify him. They said there was nobody there. The saw was still in his hand. Like, you know what I'm saying? So all of those hours, so that's why I said, like, that was kind of hard for me in that part to know that they just came right out and got right to, you know what I'm saying? Like, to it. Not like, oh, we lost them. Or, like, they could have made an anonymous phone call. Period. They were wrong. 911, somebody's in there, and that would have been that. Like, you know what I'm saying? It wouldn't have changed the outcome. But he wouldn't have been in there that long by himself, like nobody knows. So yeah,
yeah.
So,
but I think like that's what makes this conversation that we're having so unique, because with anybody else that you're having a conversation with about this book, we're so close and we know the people in it. So that's what makes the conversation extra like sensitive. Like even in the book, I was kind of wondering when you decided to write about the struggles that your mom had, how the conversation went when you let her know she was in the book, or did you talk to her before you put her in there?
I believe I wrote the book first, and I told her I knew it was a touchy situation, and she got a lot of things going on, and I didn't want to touch on it too much, so I was very cautious how I approached the situation. But I knew that that's what makes the story what it is. Like that's the only way that I know how to give it, is like, you know, you know, and I know, you know, she's a minister now, so I know that she was going to be able to accept it and deal with it and understand and see the bigger picture with it. So it was touchy, but we got through it. And one of the things that we're going to do moving forward is we're going to do some projects together.
That's nice.
Like we're looking to get into prison ministry. She got the credentials, and I guess I got the credentials too, being that. So we got some things that we're gonna be working on. God is moving very swiftly.
Yeah. Mom Chaffin, do you have anything to say about your conversation with your son? No, you just tell us.
When I first read the book, he didn't talk to me about it. He didn't discuss anything with me. He would call me up every now and then, and I would give him tidbits of parts of my life and things that weren't completely clear to him. But I didn't know what was going to be in the book until after it came out, and I got a copy of it and read it, and I was completely shocked. I read the book in one day. I couldn't sleep for 2 nights after that. It brought up a lot of old memories that were buried. And like you said, Kenya, it kind of touched a nerve. Because even when I was out there, I thought nobody knew. When we're getting high, we think nobody knows. You know, and I told him, I said, don't you remember when I worked 2 jobs? Don't you remember this?
The good stuff.
Don't you remember the good stuff?
Yeah.
You know? But I prayed about it. And I believe I fasted for a day. And I asked God for some answers. And he told me that the book is not about any particular character. He told me that the book points every hurting person, everyone that is going through something, everyone that ever will go through something. The book points them to Christ, just as the characters in the Bible, King David, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, all the characters in the Bible, they point to Christ. They point to a better way. There are some people in the Bible that God, that I don't know, they have, that King David was a murderer and an adulterer. But he was also a man after God's own heart. And God shows how that if you keep pursuing him, that he can, and he will change your life. If you allow him to do that, he will order our steps, and he'll make a better way for us. And God told me that, that's what this book is about. It's not about the characters in it, but it's about the characters in it being changed. Somebody may I've talked to so many people that had my own grandson called his mother and was crying, said he read the end of the book. And he thinks he's hard. And this book will change people's lives. They read the book. It's about, you have to read it all the way to the end. You can't open it up in the middle and start and look for your name in it, because it's really not about you. It's about Christ. It's about what Christ can do in your life. To make a long story short, it's about how God can change anybody.
And that's why I said, whenever I had made a post last week about the book, and I said, regardless of what you feel about the author, read the book to the end. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you read the book to the end. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because ultimately there is a message in there. At the beginning of the book, the middle of the book, I didn't see where you were going with this book. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't know where you were going with this book. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was on an emotional roller coaster through this book. A lot of the things and the times and the people and that you were talking about, I was there. I was around. Like, I know. Like, you know what I'm saying? I know these situations. So I'm just like, okay, so, but at the end of the book, I was like, okay. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was able to close the book and be like, okay. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay. So, get the book, read the book. And people are entitled to their own opinions. Absolutely. And because we all are, but, so, read the book.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How old were you when you decided to start hustling?
We was 11 years old. About 11 years old.
And what would you say was the deciding factor in you turning to the streets and making that a way of life for so many years of your life?
Once I was rebellious. I like to do what I want to do when I want to do it. It was hard for me to accept no for an answer. I wanted things that I wasn't willing to wait for. I wanted things on my own. I wanted it when I wanted it. It was right now. I wanted it right now. And I just started from hanging around a different crowd of people, and before you know it, it wasn't
hard.
No,
it wasn't hard.
It's in your face daily. It's right now. I guess to this day, it's in your face. just it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Wow, I can't believe that. 11 years old.
Mm-hmm.
That makes me think about what was I doing at 11? I would not even ever imagine it. And I think that's why some of the details came off as so shocking to me. Because I'm like, they were doing this at that age?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is
We were.
crazy.
We were.
Yeah.
We were.
Yeah.
Well, I think in this book, one of the key points of the book is you deciding to cooperate with the feds.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that happened, in 2002?
No, it happened in 2003.
2003. Okay, so 2003, that's 16 years ago, and you know that the label, when you cooperate with the feds, people start calling you a rat. They label you that.
Yeah.
How do you feel at this age, still having that stigma on you?
It don't bother me. It don't bother me. If I had to do it again, I would do it again to save my family, to save my mother, to save my wife, to save my sister. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine with it. Like, there's people who's always want to have something to say regardless.
Mm-hmm.
If I stay stuck on that, worrying about what somebody say, I'll never get to where I need to be at in life.
Mm-hmm.
They can stay stuck in that mindset if they want to. At the same time, if I would have came back and jumped right back in the game, which they was expecting me to, and which they wanted me to, I had people come straight to me, like, what's up? It ain't been right since you've been gone.
Yeah.
Had I jumped right back into it, everybody who got something to say, they would be right on deck. They would be ready, and there's people that still reached out. They were saying that I was still running things when I came out of prison. That went around for years. Oh yeah, he got that. Yeah, he back. Yeah, he got that. He doing this. Yeah, that's his work. That's it. No, that ain't me.
Yeah.
So it don't matter. Like they talked about Jesus. So what make you think they gonna talk about me? Or you? It don't matter.
Yeah.
It's I'm good. I'm in a good place in my life, and I don't look back. I'm moving ahead. I'm elevating. I'm staying focused. I'm keeping the heat up off me. You can say what you want to say. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. As long as no threats come my way, then I'll take that a little differently.
Yeah.
But you can say what you want to say. They hated me. They hated on me when I was out there making big moves. They hated me when I was in grade school. When I was going to school for no reason. You go to work, you're gonna have people hating on you regardless. It don't matter. They're gonna say whatever. So it don't matter what situation or whatever. But I'm free. Like I'm free. I'm okay with the ones that matters the most. And I don't gotta disclose no names or nothing, but the ones that matter most, I'm okay with.
I have a question too. There was one detail leading up to that really stuck out to me, and I think it stuck out to me because I'm not familiar with the game. I was in school, doing whatever. So the night that you got pulled over, you talked about all you could think of was they're just gonna take X amount of dollars off of me.
Yeah.
But then they let you go home and you have the conversation with your wife and explain what happened. And then she says, well, they probably have a D&T on you. And then you describe that it's a do not touch order. So I'm assuming at that point they had already been investigating you.
Yes.
But then you talk about the next morning. That's something like you kind of like completely forgot. And my question was, how did you forget that? Like, what, the stakes are so high in this game.
You know, when somebody calling you and you know that you about to go hit a $30,000 lick the next morning, like it's hard to just just turn away from that. You know, it's, man, the devil will work on you. The devil will work on you. You know, he got more tricks than you can ever imagine.
So he was tunnel vision.
Yeah, like that's it. You blinded. You blinded by that. I saw you. That's it. You got people depending on you. You know, a lot of people get off on that, feeling important. You know, somebody calling your phone, blowing your phone up. You know, and just that whole. That's the life. That's all I knew. Like getting up, going to work. That was my getting up, going to work. That was my job. It was my job to make sure everybody was on deck. So, you know, and then once I got up and I'm driving and I don't see nobody in my rear view, it ain't on me, ain't nobody watching me. You know, not knowing that, you know, they all on my phones. They on everybody's phones. Everybody I'm going to go meet, they're on their phones. So they got over 1,000 intercepted conversations. How can you run from that? You can't. There ain't no. You think you going on this side of town? They already beat you there. They already there waiting.
Did they tell you how long they were investigating you?
It was for I think it was close to 6 months. Yeah.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
Yeah.
All right, so fast forward to everybody gets hemmed up. You make the decision to cooperate. In the book, you say you did not rat, you cooperated, and there's a difference. Can you explain what the difference is?
The difference is, from my perspective, a rat is somebody who's get busted, and there's a whole lot of this going on right now. They get busted, don't nobody know they got busted. They get back out the same day, and they start setting people up. Or they come lingering around, getting information, gathering information, and then reporting back to the government or to the police or whoever.
That's their job.
That's their job.
Okay.
Confidential informant, sort of the same thing. Cooperating, what I did was I cooperated. I told some of the content on some of my phone calls. There was a whole lot of people who did not get jammed up in that because none of the other individuals who cooperated could identify the voices on the calls because it was my third or fourth phone that only I talked to. So I couldn't remember who these other people were. And those are some of the people that still have a lot of respect for me till this day. You know, and these are some straight up and down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the difference. And it wasn't until 3 or 4 months down the line after I got arrested that any of this took place.
Okay.
And there was somebody that was on the same block as me, who was, you know, who was dealing with me, that he knew everything that was going on with every step of attorney visits, everything that was going on the whole time I was in there together with him for those months. And But the bottom line is, they say cooperating, ratting is all the same. They don't, you can't shortcut it or whatever. Mm-hmm. So, about my family, I would do it again.
Mm-hmm. I think that's something that people really don't take into account. I think it's easy to put the label on somebody from the outside looking in, but when you're actually in it.
Yeah, there's a lot of, there's so many, we're just going to talk on a small level here. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about the community where we grew up at. Mm-hmm. There's so many out there right now, people know that they cooperated before, or they did this, or they did that, but they don't care because they got what they want right now. Mm-hmm. And as long as you got what they want, you're good.
Yeah.
Like
I know he did X, Y, and Z, but I need this, so whatever.
Yeah, they don't care. Yeah. They don't care. They're gonna roll with you. They're gonna be whatever. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it's a whole lot of fakesters out there.
Yeah. So cooperating and going to jail, it's all part of the game. For me, I just think that if you going in and you sign up for this, you just got to take what's coming. Like, you know what I'm saying? And again, you don't know how you'll react to anything, because everybody can say, oh, I wouldn't do this, I'm not going to do that, I'm not that person, until they are faced with that situation. Like, nobody can speak on that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody could say, I'm not going to do that, I wouldn't do that, like, you know what I'm saying? But you don't know that, like, you know what I'm saying? And if you don't, kudos to you, like, you know what I'm saying? So you will go away or whatever it is, and for something, you know what I'm saying, where it could have been a different outcome for you or anybody else. Like, you know what I mean? So you have a lot of that. I wouldn't do that. That couldn't be me, right. In those things. So
I try to stay away from that type of talk.
Yeah.
It can never be me, because you don't know what you would do until you're there. Until you're faced
with that situation.
Mm-hmm.
Until you're faced with that
situation.
If
you're going, if you're willing to, to do, if you're willing to do 25, 30, 50 years, and let some of your immediate family members. I'm talking about like mother, father, sister, brother, wife, husband. If you're willing to let them go down and lose their careers and lose, everything that they work for, and in order to say you're good and allow
people to think friends, whatever they want to think about you. Again, it's other people's perception of you.
For your friends, for a friend or associate to, be like, oh, he good or this and that, then, man, I don't want to be involved with you. Like I'm, but I was, I think the difference with me was that I was enforcing a lot of these things that I ended up doing. Like, I was an enforcer. I wasn't to be played with. If I had a problem or somebody was doing something that I didn't feel that it shouldn't have been done, then there was consequences to it. So for me to get in that position that I was in and do what I did, it was a shocker to everybody. Mm-hmm. So I understand the way people feel, whatever they say. I understand that you're entitled to your own opinion, and as long as you stay out of my lane, we good. Mm-hmm. So you can say what you want to say.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, reading the book from beginning to end, there are so many points in your lifetime where you experience trauma on one level or another. Have you ever seen a therapist?
Yes, I have.
Okay, good. Because I'm
not sure that I got much out of it.
Okay.
Well, my personality, you know, I thought I was smarter than a psychologist.
Yeah.
You know, but
yeah.
I seek God. I seek God for all my answers.
Mm-hmm.
Like I talk to God a lot. You know, I meditate. You know, I look to God for all my answers.
Mm-hmm.
And some won't understand it. You won't understand it until you form that relationship with God. That you see that He's right there with you, and He answers. He answers, and that's been my best therapy ever.
Yeah, I understand that. I guess I was asking that question because we are really big advocates on the O.P.O.V of mental health and mental wellness.
Yeah.
And I personally am an advocate for seeing a therapist because, you know, studies show that people who live in poverty-stricken neighborhoods suffer from PTSD. And we normalize it, and being in a traumatized state is normal for us. And that's how, you know, we walk around like that. So I think it's good that you saw a therapist. I'm happy about that. So at what point in your life that you decide you wanted to evolve as a man? Like you were done playing around and...
I would say about 10 years ago. I knew I wanted different. It was still a process with me finding myself though. You think you know yourself, you think you got it all figured out, but until you do some deep down soul searching, you really don't know. You ain't scratched the surface yet. So it just took me, I guess about over 10 years ago. You know, I know I wanted different. I know that I had people that was dependent on me. I got kids that that I need to be there for, and I was determined to break the generational curse, and that's what I strive for. I want to make sure that my children and their children is in a much better position than my mother was, or my grandmother was, or my great grandmother. Or, so I just want to make sure that I leave something, not just financially, spiritually, and on so many different levels that my kids can start instilling it in their children. So, when we talk about generational wealth and generational curses, I'm not just talking about financially, So.
Yeah. So where do you see yourself going from here? You wrote this book, now what?
I don't want to disclose everything, but there's outer space is the limit, not sky's the limit. I got a whole lot I want to do. I want to start mentoring. I'm mentoring kids. I'm involved in church. I'm involved in the men's groups. I want to pour back into the youth. That's what I'm doing. Like I want to let them know that there's a better way. Despite any circumstance that you're in, and things that you're faced with, there's a better way. And I'm a big brother to some others. It's not just about my seeds. It's about some of them seeds that's in the situations that we found ourselves in at a young age. So that's what God put me here for, is to give back. And anybody who know me, they can say what they want to say, but there's a lot of people ate because of me. There was a lot of food on a lot of tables because of my kind heart. So, and there's a lot of people in positions because of something that I may have brought along at one time or another.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I see myself just going.
Mm-hmm.
Like ain't no looking back. You know, I'm inspiring others, and motivating others and motivating myself daily.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and just to do better and be better,
Mm-hmm.
and stay focused regardless of the situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you have anything that's like in the immediate future that people can look forward to, or just?
I don't want to disclose nothing yet,
Mm-hmm.
quite yet. But there's some works there's some things being worked on, some things being negotiated, and things, you know, there's things moving ahead. We just getting started. This is my official
Mm-hmm.
launch day.
Kickoff.
You
Yeah.
know, this is my official book release today.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just getting started.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just want to focus on this project here for some time, and y'all see, you'll see.
Have you had any negative feedback from the book yet? From anybody that read the book? Have you had any negative?
Not directly.
Not directly.
Not directly.
Mhm.
There was one person that tried to send me some type of message, but there's a block button on there. I just blocked it.
Okay.
All right.
Like I don't got no, you know, and it was some little girl from out there in Duquesne somewhere.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but I hear things,
Mm-hmm.
but it don't affect me.
Okay.
It's like, you know, my mindset. Your mindset matters.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my mindset is I'm so locked in that it's gonna take more than just some couple words to pull me out of my square.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mhm.
pull me away from that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm focused.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to let you know that I'm really glad to have had this conversation with you today. As I said earlier, was really difficult because we're in a precarious situation where we have families who were impacted as a result of the things that had taken place in this book. So, but I'm really glad we were able to come together and have this conversation today. I think that you talked about some things that the people would want to know, and it also proved to be therapeutic to a certain degree.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, do you have anything else that y'all want to talk about?
I I'm good.
Okay.
Do you have any questions for us, or do you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or anything? I do have something to say because you know, I haven't seen you in like 20 years, maybe. Forever. Like, you know what I'm saying? So us coming here today, there was nerves there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there was nerves there, there was feelings there. I read the book, and like I said, I was emotional. I was angry. And then I was like, okay, like, you know what I was set back. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I went through all of those emotions. So today coming here, like, my nerves, I was all over the place yesterday. I was all over the place yesterday. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to say that. Like, I was all over the place. But getting here, you know, and talking and having this conversation, and I feel good. I feel good.
I'm happy, guys. I'm proud of that. I'm thankful. I'm grateful. Everything, like, you know, I appreciate everything. I appreciate the support, and stay with me. Stay with me. We're gonna keep in touch, and you know, we can get together and go to lunch, dinner, or whatever. You know, and even, you know, go to church or something.
Right.
Sky's the limit. Like, you know, we just getting started. You know, just, you know, so I look forward to coming back, and as things start to progress, and we can do this again, and you know, sit down and chop it up, and you know, but everything's been good. You know, I appreciate the support. I can't thank any of you enough. I can't thank, you know, the people who's following me, the people who support me directly or indirectly, even if you didn't purchase the book. I appreciate the support.
Let them know where they can get the book at.
You can get the book on Amazon, or you can direct message me, and it'll get delivered. Whether I deliver it myself or whether it's in the mail, you got access to get it.
What's your handle?
Claybo 100, CLABO 100. I'm only on IG. That's the platform I like the most. And yeah, we got some things on the pot stirring up. So stay tuned.
Good, that's good. Well, I don't have anything else. So thank you everybody for watching. I hope you got something out of this conversation. And as always, like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.